Is there a simpler, more natural way to live? Today we're diving into Lao Tzu's teachings, ideas that could forever change how you see life. Lao Tzu's wisdom offers an easy path to contentment in everyday life. Let's discover how these ancient ideas can bring us true, lasting peace today. But first, who was Lao Tzu? What kind of wisdom could someone from 2,500 years ago offer us today? Legend says he was a wise and mysterious man who lived a long time ago in ancient China. He's believed to have written the Tao Te Ching, a book full of deep ideas about how to live in peace with ourselves and the world. Lao Tzu didn't just talk about philosophy, he showed us a way of life. The word Tao means the way. Today we'll explore what that really means in our busy modern lives. Lao Tzu was not interested in fame or power. He believed in finding a natural way to live, a way that was simple and true. Unlike many leaders of his time, Lao Tzu did not push people to follow him. Instead, he left behind wisdom in the form of simple teachings that can still help us today. His ideas are about how to live peacefully, how to lead without force, and how to find joy in simplicity. Although he lived a long time ago, the questions he asked, like how to find happiness and peace, are questions we still ask today. Let's start with one of Lao Tzu's most famous ideas: go with the flow. Have you ever been in a situation where no matter how much you try, things just get worse? Imagine being stuck in traffic, late for an appointment. You're stressed and it feels like everything is working against you. Now imagine if you could be like water. Water doesn't get stressed, it just moves around obstacles, finding the easiest path. Lao Tzu says that water's strength comes from being able to adapt. It goes to the low places that others avoid, yet it stays pure. This ability to accept both the good and the bad without fighting makes water strong. Water doesn't try to conquer obstacles head-on. Instead, it finds a way around, through, or even under them. In the same way, Lao Tzu teaches us to let go of the need to fight and control everything, and instead accept things as they are and move around them. True strength is about adapting and moving forward without forcing things. The more we let go of our ego, the more easily we move through life. A river always finds its way, not by force, but by following the natural path ahead. Think about how much time we spend trying to control things in our lives. We plan, we stress, we get upset when things don't go our way. Lao Tzu would remind us that this is a waste of energy. When we are like water, we learn to move around problems instead of fighting them. Imagine being in a disagreement. Instead of arguing until someone wins, what if we could adapt, listen, and find another way? Being like water is not giving up. It's being smart and flexible, finding the best path forward without creating more stress. We live in a world that always tells us that more is better. More stuff, more success, more attention. But what if we've got it all wrong? What if happiness is not about adding more but letting go? Lao Tzu saw things differently. Less is more. Happiness doesn't come from filling our lives with things. In fact, it's often the opposite. By letting go of what we don't need, we make space for what really matters. Uncut wood is a symbol of being natural and simple. Uncut wood means staying true to ourselves without trying to change to fit in with what society wants. Being simple doesn't mean we don't grow. It means we grow naturally and effortlessly. Lao Tzu tells us that true happiness is not about changing ourselves to meet others' expectations, but about staying true, genuine, and simple. Imagine if we stopped chasing blind standards set by society. By learning to value our natural state like uncut wood, we find real and lasting happiness. What are the things in your life that you could let go of to make more space for happiness? Maybe it's the pressure to always be the best or the feeling that you need to keep up with everyone else. Lao Tzu teaches us that by simplifying our lives, we can discover what really matters. It's like cleaning out a cluttered room. When we get rid of what we don't need, we suddenly have space to breathe and enjoy what's truly important. Lao Tzu also talked about leadership, but not the kind we often see today: loud, forceful, and demanding. He said the best leaders are the ones who lead by example. They don't need to shout to be heard, they inspire people by what they do. Think of a mentor or a wise grandparent, someone who made a difference in your life just by being there. Lao Tzu once said, "To lead the people, walk behind them." This kind of leadership is all about humility. A real leader serves others. They lift people up without looking for praise or recognition. Just like water flows to the lowest places, a leader should be willing to go wherever they are needed without thinking about their own glory. Lao Tzu described a leader who helps others so well that in the end, the people say, "We did it ourselves." That's true leadership, helping others without needing to control them, and letting people find their own strength. Think about the people in your life who inspire you the most. Are they the ones who demand your attention, or are they the ones who quietly show you the way by their actions? Lao Tzu teaches that leadership is not about being in charge, it's about serving others. Imagine if every leader, whether at work, in school, or at home, focused on helping others shine instead of taking the spotlight for themselves. What would our world look like if leaders worked to lift others up rather than putting themselves first? Another key teaching of Lao Tzu is the idea of effortless action. Can you imagine achieving more by doing less? Have you ever been so involved in something you love that time seems to disappear? That's what Lao Tzu called effortless action. True success doesn't need force or struggle. It's like a tree growing without effort. It doesn't push or force itself upward, but reaches for the sun naturally. Lao Tzu encourages us to go with the flow of nature. Imagine a leaf floating down a river. The leaf doesn't resist, it moves easily with the current. This is how we can live, taking part fully in life without trying to control every outcome. This idea is freeing. We often feel like we have to push ourselves to get results, but Lao Tzu teaches that when we stop pushing, we often get closer to real success. By allowing things to happen naturally, we set the stage for success, like a seed that grows into a tree without rushing. Think about a time when you were working on something and felt completely stressed out, like nothing was going right. Now think of a time when things just seemed to come together naturally, without you forcing it, which felt better, which worked out better in the end. Effortless action doesn't mean being lazy or not caring. It means being fully present and working with the flow of life instead of against it. When we are relaxed and open, we find that things often fall into place more easily. Lao Tzu believed that real strength comes from humility. Do you ever wonder why some people seem unbreakable no matter what happens? Think about the grass in a field. It bends in the wind during a storm, but when the storm passes, it stands up again. Many of us think we have to be tough and never show weakness. But Lao Tzu invites us to see that being vulnerable can be a strength. Flexibility is what makes us resilient. To Lao Tzu, being rigid means you're more likely to fail, while being flexible means you can survive. When a strong storm hits, it's often the people who are willing to bend and adapt who make it through, while those who are too stubborn break. Lao Tzu teaches us that the strongest people are the ones willing to yield. Being strong doesn't mean never bending. It means being flexible enough to adapt and stand back up when life gets hard. In our daily lives, this could mean being humble in our relationships. It's okay to say sorry, to change our minds, or to admit that we don't have all the answers. Lao Tzu's wisdom shows us that true strength isn't about resisting change. It's about being open to it, being soft enough to adapt, and strong enough to endure. Humility and softness give us the power to survive any storm. Think about a time when you faced a challenge. Did you try to push through no matter what, or did you allow yourself to adapt? Which approach worked better. Lao Tzu teaches us that real strength is about knowing when to be firm and when to bend. Just like the grass that survives the storm, we can find strength in being humble and flexible. Life will always have storms, but if we are willing to bend, we can rise again once the storm has passed. How often do we worry about what's coming next or think about things that already happened? Lao Tzu reminds us of the power of now. There's nothing more real than this moment. The ever-wanting soul is always looking for the next thing, and it's never satisfied. But the unwanting soul finds contentment by appreciating what's happening now. Living in the present means stopping the endless search for more and realizing that everything we need is right here. Lao Tzu teaches us that the past and the future are illusions. The only real moment is now. The ever-wanting soul is always chasing something else, but the unwanting soul finds peace in simplicity and being present. Take a deep breath and just be here. That's what Lao Tzu is trying to teach. When we live in the present, we realize that tomorrow's worries fade away and yesterday's regrets lose their power. The only moment we have control over is right now. By fully embracing it, we open the door to real happiness. Think about all the moments we miss because we are too busy worrying about what's next. When was the last time you really enjoyed something without thinking about anything else? Maybe it was watching a sunset, playing a game, or laughing with a friend. Those moments are the real treasures of life. Lao Tzu teaches us that by being fully present, we can find true peace. Instead of always chasing what's next, we can take a moment to enjoy what we have now. Sometimes the wisest thing we can do is to just let life flow. Thank you for joining me on this journey into Lao Tzu's wisdom. If you found value in this, please like this video and subscribe for more ideas about living a simpler, happier life.